Well, 2022 was quite the year for anime. So many hyped up series, a bunch of big adaptations, sequels to long-running shows, and of course the originals that sprung up out of nowhere like the random wild Pokemon that somehow managed to trip up your dragon motorcycle. Y'all should play Pokemon Scarlet and Violet. Don't listen to the reviews, it's a fun game, trust me.
Okay.
But yeah, a lot of good anime this year, and as is tradition, I watched all or nearly all of them so I could rank them using an arbitrary tier list scale. And I say tradition, but I literally only did this one time before. I mean, I guess I can start calling it a tradition next year, because that'll be the third time, but you know, whatever. Alright, let's just get into it. We'll go by season, and I'll be ranking them just on how much I like the show, I guess. Take my opinion with a grain of salt, but just know that this is objectively correct, because I'm always right when it comes to anime. Okay, starting with winter 2022. I'm just looking off my anime list, by the way. The first thing we got is Demon Slayer Season 2. Very good show, obviously. We all love young Japanese boys hitting each other with swords and breathing good. It's all fine. I like Ufotable. They'll always be goated for adapting Fate. I can't say I'm the biggest Demon Slayer fan, but if you like it, more power to you. I'm gonna say B tier. Then we got Attack on Titan. Big fan of Attack on Titan. I read the manga, but even still, try not to spoil anybody in the comments, you fucking assholes. Despite many dissenting opinions, I like MAPPA's adaptation so far, and maybe even more controversial, well, maybe I don't know what the fandom thinks these days, but I think the ending of Attack on Titan is fine. It's all good. 10 years, am I right? I think I'll say A tier. I'm gonna reserve S tier for like my favorites of the favorites. Season 3 of Takagi-san was very good. Not the biggest fan. I think Nagatoro absolutely clears this series, but hey, no need to pit two bad bitches against each other. But I'm gonna say B tier. My Dress Up Darling. Holy shit, there were a lot of big shows this season. You know, it's crazy. I feel like for as big as this show was, it's like, well, it seems like it's largely forgotten. Like, doesn't it feel like it didn't even come out this year? I don't know. Of course, there's still people posting Marin fan art almost daily, but otherwise, you don't really hear about this show too often anymore. But I guess obviously that'll change once season 2 drops. But anyway, this was a good show. A very good show. B tier. Sasaki and Miyano is very good. I can't say I dislike seeing a boys' love series once in a while, but you know, that's Studio Dean. They're a hit or a miss a lot of the time. I guess this is still B tier though. The Case Study of Vanitas Part 2. Not gonna lie, I didn't even finish Part 1, so I sure as fuck didn't watch this. Sorry. Title of the video is already cap, whatever. I clickbaited you, my fault, sorry. Princess Connect Season 2. Not as good as Season 1 in my opinion, but still a very good show. I'm gonna say C tier. Heike Monogatari. Very, very good show. If you're a weeb and not just like a, oh, anime is cool, haha, wish I could get a Japanese girlfriend or boyfriend, haha, but you're someone who like has a legitimate interest in Japan and Japanese culture, you should watch the show. And not gonna lie, I might rewatch this now because I forgot a lot of it, but it was really good. It's like a historical fiction. A tier, honestly. Akebi's Sailor Uniform, aka the Feet anime, unironically one of the best animated shows of this year. Eat your heart out, Ufotable. But I mean, as funny as it is how people meme that Demon Slayer is like carried by animation, this slice of life show is legit carried by animation. Not to say it's bad or boring, but I mean, let's just say they make it pretty to look at for a reason. C tier. Okay, there's The Realist Hero Season 2. I don't really care for this show, not gonna lie. I didn't really like Part 1, and Part 2 didn't change my opinion. If you like it, that's cool though. A lot of the character designs are dope, but D tier. And oh look, it's a completely different, definitely not the same show. The Genius Prince's Guide to Raising a Nation Out of Debt. I know a lot of people like to say this is the better alternative to Realist Hero, but I think they're like the same, honestly. I don't care about either of these shows. D tier. Ryman's Club is about badminton. I mean, I like badminton, but this show didn't make me care enough about badminton to watch a full season, so yeah. Slow Loop. Now that's a sports anime. Everyone likes fly fishing, am I right? But yeah, this show is actually cool. I'm gonna say it's C tier. Ari Ferretta, bro, I don't even know about this show. I watched it, but I have like zero opinion on it. Y'all gotta go ask Matty Ice about this show, because he's the only one I know who gives a fuck about it. Police in a Pod is very stupid. The manga is dumb, and the anime is dumb too, except it's also low budget, so F tier. Apparently there's a live adaptation too, which I don't know about all that. Life with an ordinary guy who reincarnated into a total fantasy knockout. Oh Christ, your eyes might already be glazing over hearing that title, and I don't blame you, but the show's actually pretty funny. It gives me like Konosuba vibes. The comedy is very like blunt and, you know, it's borderline hard to watch, but that has its own charm in a way, so C tier. Sabikoi Bisco had a cool opening and a cool premise, and that's it. This is one of the pitfalls that many anime fall into, where it's like you think of this great premise and world building and you have all these cool ideas, but then there's that whole difficult thing of actually turning it into a coherent story, and you know, people tend to get tripped up on that part. I'll say D tier, sadly, but I mean, it wasn't the worst thing ever. Oh god, and here's a bunch of shows that I either didn't see or don't really care to talk about, to be honest. So let's move on to spring 2022. First up, Kaguya-sama Ultra Romantic. You already know where this is going. This is the first S tier of the video, because I mean, this is just like the best show ever. I mean, you know, chances are you probably agree with me when I say that, because the critical acclaim that this show gets is just insane, but obviously very well deserved. You don't need me to tell you how good it is, even though I've made multiple videos doing just that. But yeah, if for some reason you haven't already watched this show, I don't know, who am I kidding? Everybody watched this show. Kingdom Season 4. I've said multiple times on this channel that I'm not the biggest fan of the anime adaptation of this series, but you know, that's not really the hottest take. It's not really the spiciest thing I could say. But this 4th season was cool. I had some problems with it, but y'all don't need to hear about all that. I'ma just say A tier. Spy Family. Oh man. Remember when I said there were a lot of big shows in 2022? This is in fact one of them. And this is going to be a running theme in this video for sure, but this is a show that I've hyped on this channel many times long before the show came out. I'm a big fan of the manga. I was so excited for it to release. I was gassing it like, oh, y'all ain't ready for when Spy Family comes out, and when it finally did, I barely watched any of it. Listen, I watched like 2 episodes when the show first came out and then stopped. So for this video, I had to quick binge this and then season 2 as well, or part 2 or whatever. And yeah, it's cool, man. It's a great show. But again, you don't need me to tell you that. Chances are you probably already watched it. I'm gonna say Spy Family is A tier. And then, okay, oh, we got Summertime Render. Now here we go, man. This is one y'all gotta watch, because it may actually have gone under your radar despite the positive buzz and kind of, you know, discussion on the internet that it's gotten. Again, this is another show I made a video about that no one watched, but it's cool. I'm not salty. It's fun. Y'all gotta watch this show though. I think it's still in Disney jail, but I'm sure y'all will be resourceful enough to find a way to watch it. You know, not saying anything. I wouldn't encourage you to do anything crazy, but let's be real. Aoashi or whatever. Not gonna lie, I watched like 2 episodes of this, but it was cool. But other than that, yeah, can't say much about it. Parapikome, another show that I made a video about that no one watched. If you haven't heard of this show, you probably heard of the opening, which had a little viral moment when the show dropped. You can thank people like my buddy Sammy was here for putting a lot of people on. But the show itself is really good. Aiko is like sleeper best girl of the year, although she has a lot of competition. Yeah, dope show, B tier. Komi-san Season 2. I don't like Komi-san. If you watch this channel, you already know that about me. I don't like the manga. I don't like the anime. But that being said, I see why it's enjoyable, I guess. Look, if you already like Komi Season 1, you like Komi Season 2, it's more of the same. Y'all can have it though. I'm gonna say D tier. Ascendance of a Bookworm Season 3. This is weird because I don't even like this show, and yet here I am watching Season 3. Again, if you know, you'll know if you like this show or not. I just think it's okay. C tier. Dance Dance Danseur is a good show, at least for people like me who are like pretentious art snobs who like look at shows like this and we hold our chins like, ah yes, the composition, the detail, the intricacy, yes, astounding. Basically I'm saying I'm a huge douche. But this show is cool. It's like a nice seinen show, so if you're like a grown-ass adult wanting to watch a grown-ass adult show, I'd recommend this, so B tier. And then we got Date Alive Season 4. Who doesn't like Date Alive, right? Fighting waifus, harems, lasers, ecchi, it's great, right? Not exactly my favorite harem anime, but still C tier, I'd say, nonetheless. Love Live. Again, if you watch this channel, you know I love me some Love Live. Who doesn't like idols, right? Y'all like your BTS's and Blackpinks, right? Idol culture is big right now. even though this show is nothing like that. It's good though, C tier. Tomodachi Game. A lot of people like this show. I think it's a bit edgy for my taste. It's a little goofy, but I'd still recommend watching it, so C tier. Love After World Domination is another show with an OP that may or may not be more notable than the show itself, even though the show is great, you know, jokes aside. The manga is good too, and I think it's ending soon too, if it hasn't ended already. I'm a bit behind on it. But yeah, the show is really good. Decimi, another contender for Best Girl 2022, in my book at least, and yeah, I'd say B tier. Then we got Birdie Wing, another show you probably know from the OP. Haha, how funny. It sounds like he's saying penis. How silly. The show is unironically good though. It's fun, it's over the top. I don't care about golf. I don't know if you care about golf, but if you don't, you should still watch the show anyway. It's that good. B tier. Trapped in a Dating Sim. This show sucks. The manga sucks. People like to pretend it's more clever than it actually is, and if you think that, that's fine, but I'm good on it though. F tier. Aharen-san. This show continues an odd but classic trend of small girl gets with bigger dude, and I mean, it's cool, I guess. C tier. Shikimori is not just a cutie. Oh man, this is a perfect example of what I was talking about earlier. People were hyping this show up like crazy, and when it came out, it definitely made a splash, but now at the end of the year, who even remembers this show exists? Like, I know I already forgot about it. Also, a little side story, right, real quick. I'll say straight up, I'm not really a fan of the manga, and the anime is whatever too, but I got into a little drama on Twitter, a little micro drama, because I was defending the male lead Izumi. A lot of people were saying the show sucks, which obviously that's fine to think that, and I'm inclined to agree, but they were saying it sucked because Izumi was a pushover and that he was like a beta for letting his girlfriend be more dominant or more capable than him, which is absolutely insane. It blew my mind that people still had this weird 1950s mentality in 2022, but then again, it's anime fans, so I can't really say I'm surprised. But yeah, the show does suck, but not because it doesn't conform to your weird ideas of relationship dynamics. D tier. All right, next show, A Couple of Cuckoos. This is unfortunate because, as is the case with a lot of these shows, I had already read the manga, and the manga is like 100 chapters in or something. And I followed it from the beginning, so I got to see the ups and downs of going from me really liking this series at first and then watching it devolve into basically something like Rent a Girlfriend, which I'm sure you can imagine getting compared to Rent a Girlfriend is like worse than being called a slur. But that being said, the anime covers the portion where I still like the series a lot, so I'm actually gonna say B tier. Oh man, Rising of the Shield Hero Season 2. What a shame, man. What a shame. I haven't read the light novels, so I don't know exactly what went wrong here, but I know something did. F tier. Yikes. Okay, then there's a bunch of other shows. Maybe I'm missing something else. Let me know in the comments. But yeah, not a lot else I want to talk about here. Just a lot of goofy ass isekais and shows where it's like, I used to be a hero, but now I bake crumpets in the countryside or some shit like that. You know what I'm talking about. I was kicked out of the heroes party and now I stream Overwatch. Those kind of shows. We don't need to talk about that shit. First up, Made in Abyss Season 2, an easy contender for Anime of the Year. Very hard to talk about this show without spoiling, but if you know, you know. That's all I'll say. Also, you probably know this by now if you watch the show, but I just like to tell people because apparently a lot of people don't know this. You gotta watch the movie before going into this season, so keep that in mind. But otherwise, I highly recommend it. Such a great series. S tier. Licorice Recoil. It's so nice that we get a few of these every year nowadays. That kind of out of the blue anime original banger. And see, bro, this is why A1 Pictures is one of the Go anime studios. They pulled this off and Kaguya-sama. Like, bro, don't play with them. Yeah, I mean, Licorice Recoil was an unexpected hit. You know, everyone loved this show. You can see all the Chisato fan art all over the internet. It's become a critical and commercial success. I think the physical copies of the show outsold Demon Slayer, which is like, holy shit. I love it though, man. I'm a big fan of anime originals. I like when a studio gets together and finds a director and a writer and they all just grind out a passion project like this that's not based on anything, because then it's like, okay, just tell us your story, give us your artistic product with no source material, no worrying about adapting it properly or setting up for a season 2. I mean, you can tell us a self-contained original story from start to finish, and I love that shit. But yeah, Licorice Recoil, S tier, nothing controversial there. Classroom of the Elite Season 2. Don't like this show. Again, the few people that watch this channel already know that. You could say I hate this show, but you know, hate is a very strong word. I'm nicer than I used to be when I started this channel, but this show fucking sucks. I don't care that Kiyotaka is this 200 IQ Chad. I don't care about all the mind games. I promise you that this show is not as smart as you think it is. If you enjoy it, that's fine, but as for me, F tier, bro. Fuck this series. Fuck the light novels too, even though those are, I mean, in my opinion, better than the anime. Overlord Season 4. Not gonna lie, I didn't finish this season. I have to say I'm not the biggest Overlord fan in general, but I was actually liking Season 4 a lot, so I'm gonna have to get back on watching that. I probably should have caught up before doing this video though, am I right? Peak content creator, I'm a professional, I know. Call of the Night. Now, remember when I said there were a bunch of shows that I hyped up but ended up not even watching? This is one of those shows. I love the manga for this, right? It's one of my favorite ongoing series at the moment. I was so excited for this anime. I talked about it on video. I gassed it up. I said the usual spiel. Y'all not ready for this show. Peak incoming, whatever. And when it came out, I watched 2 episodes and never picked it up again. At least until I watched it for this video, obviously. And it's not because I didn't like it. It's obviously a great anime, but at the time I dropped it. I think I said I didn't think it properly captured the aesthetic of the manga. And especially the vibe of the manga too, which I still think now, but as I watched the rest of the season, it kind of grew on me a bit more. That being said, this is still vastly inferior to the manga, but still a great show and a good adaptation, so B tier. Okay, we got Shadow's House Season 2. I actually rewatched this whole thing recently, along with, you know, including the new season, and I gotta say, pretty damn good. I'm always a sucker for some nice mystery, and, you know, without spoiling anything, the show has that and then some, so B tier. Okay, let's see. We could talk about Isekai Oji-san. I'm also a big fan of this show, love me a good comedy. I know a lot of people were comparing it to Konosuba because that's the default comparison when people want to sell you on a comedy anime. They're like, oh, you like Konosuba? Check this out. I think it's cool. The comedy is definitely my type. I like non-humor jokes. You know, they rely on cringe and weird, surreal humor. And I like all the nods to otaku culture too. And I mean, all that stuff is good, but once you get past that, the show itself isn't all that interesting in my opinion, but it's still good for a laugh, so C tier. The Yakuza's Guide to Babysitting is a show that's based around the age-old trope of tough guys have to take care of a kid, as can be seen in the 1990 classic Arnold Schwarzenegger film Kindergarten Cop. The show is like Spy Family if you want more of the family stuff, which I mean, it's not like Spy Family is lacking in that, so I really don't know why you'd want to watch this show. It's fine though, C tier. Then we got Danmachi Season... Fuck, I'm sick right now, sorry. Danmachi Season 4, which I didn't watch because I don't give a fuck about Danmachi, past Season 2 at least. Hestia Bestia though. Shine Post is the anime entry of a mixed media franchise that aims to be like Love Live or Idolmaster and not quite on that level. D tier. Oh god, there are actually so many shows I didn't watch here. The title of this video is getting less and less accurate by the second, goddamn. But I did watch Engage Kiss, and I made a video about it too, that of course nobody watched, but I really liked Engage Kiss. Once again, it's proof that 2022 was A1 Pictures' year, because man, did they come through on all of their shows this year. So if you don't know, Engage Kiss is one of those, again, multimedia projects where they're coming out with like a game, a manga, and all that stuff, and this is the anime entry for that franchise. You can go watch the video I did to learn more about it, but I definitely recommend watching it. Don't be put off by the first few episodes. It's a really good, relatively mature story with great characters. B tier. Nice. Here we go. Rent-a-Girlfriend Season 2. Now, I know we all love dunking on Rent-a-Girlfriend. We all love to clown on Reiji, but listen. I will say this until my dying breath. Rent-a-Girlfriend was no better or no worse than your average goofy rom-com or horror manga for its first few arcs. I mean, there's a reason it got so popular in the first place, no? I mean, people had to genuinely like it at some point. And the anime is still at this point where the manga was still, you know, relatively tolerable. It hasn't gotten to the truly mind-numbing insanity that the manga is at now. It's still just a very, you know, whatever show, not a dumpster fire. So I'm gonna say C tier. Oh, also, everybody who likes to clown on Reiji for being obsessed with Mizuhara and, you know, all these people clowning him on Twitter, don't act like he's the first mangaka or even the first storyteller in general to do something like that with their characters. I swear, it's just easy to clown on him because his manga's bad, but I promise you, if Fujimoto did some shit like this, y'all would say he's a genius, but hey, what do I know? Okay, we also got Vermeil and Gold. I actually ended up reading the manga after watching this show, and it's okay. And the show is okay. I mean, if you need a good ecchi show to watch that isn't afraid to, go there, then you could do worse than this show. So, I mean, I'd recommend it. C tier. My Stepmom's Daughter is My Ex. Another borderline problematic show whose title sent Twitter into a frenzy. It's in the same vein of last year's Higehiro and even further back than that, Domestic Girlfriend. I'd say the show itself is pretty tame and almost wholesome and sweet in a way. It's definitely not as degenerate as the title suggests. It's literally just about two people who used to date and now they live together because their parents got married. So technically they're siblings now. And then from there, it's just another straightforward rom-com. That's all. It definitely ain't no kiss sis if that's what you were expecting. So C tier. The Devil is a Part-Timer season 2. Another entry in the shows I hyped up before release, but now that they're out, I didn't watch them category. And this time I actually didn't watch the show. I don't know. I just haven't gotten to it yet. And I've heard mixed things, so I'm not really in a hurry to go pick it up, unfortunately. Season 1 is still a classic though. You should definitely watch that if you haven't already. The maid I hired recently is mysterious. Oh man, now this is what people thought that Stepmom's Daughter show was gonna be. Listen, little boys being ara-ara'd by older women has been a long time staple in anime and manga, and of course other mediums as well. So I got nothing to say about that there, but I mean, the show just isn't that good. There's nothing in the show that you haven't seen already if you've watched any rom-com or ecchi show. Not a single thing. It's all tropes that have been done a million times, but just with different character designs. F tier. F for fuck this show. Okay, we could talk about, oh god. We could talk about Ruby Ice Queendom. Because, man, is there some backstory to this? So first off, if you don't know, this show is like an anime retelling of sorts, or I guess a reimagining of the Western web series Ruby. Basically creating an anime show based off a show that already kind of wanted to be an anime. Now, if you watch this channel, you know I recently took a dive into the Ruby community and kind of got a smack in the face of the insanity that comes with it. I watched the whole series and made a video about it, and now my channel has basically become a little mini home for some Ruby fans, just like it did when I used to do a bunch of JoJo content. And hey, it's been interesting to say the least. Y'all are welcome here, of course. But this show here, Ice Queendom, is actually the reason why I even got myself involved in this insane community in the first place, because when it was announced last year or early this year, whenever, I saw it was being produced by Studio Shaft, which y'all may know is one of my favorite anime studios. But I hadn't seen Ruby at the time, so I just put it on my, to watch list. And once this show, Ice Queendom, came out, I was like, okay, well, now is a good time to watch Ruby, and, well, the rest is history. All that being said, Ice Queendom is just okay. C tier. Now we get to Cyberpunk Edge Runners, a, Studio Trigger banger. This is currently my pick for anime of the year. There are other shows in contention as well, as I mentioned earlier, but if you put a gun to my head and made me choose right now, this is probably what I'd pick. Y'all know I'm a Studio Trigger fanboy, and bro, did they kill it with this show. If y'all are younger or like, I guess, new to anime, you may not know, but once upon a time, anime was not all isekais and battle shonens and weirdo harems. Back in the 70s, 80s, and even 90s, a lot of anime had this grim-dark, futuristic cyberpunk aesthetic. I'm talking like your Akiras and Ghost in the Shell, that type of anime. That used to be what anime was known for, and it was all very dystopian and gritty, and I mean, Cyberpunk Edge Runners really brings me back to those days, because not to get all boomer on y'all, but this is the kind of anime I grew up on when I was a kid in the 80s. And bro, I'm still kicking myself that I didn't grind out a video to this show. I had so much to say, but by the time I watched it, I felt like the window for making a video passed already, because like, I mean, what can I say that people haven't already said, but it's whatever. I guess I can say what I wanted to say here though, real quick, because this is just the one mini gripe I have with the show, because it's like 10 out of 10 perfect to me, S tier, whatever, top tier, but the one problem I have with it is they shouldn't have made Rebecca in love with David. To me, it just adds fluff to what is a very slick-paced, perfectly constructed show that's just, boom, 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 tells you everything you need to know in a succinct 10 episodes. What does Rebecca being in love with David add except a distraction to the main relationship between David and Lucy? I feel like it should have just been, Rebecca sees David as the brother she lost, and then, boom, you don't have to change anything in the story because she'd still act the same way she did if she just cared about him as a sibling, and then you don't have the viewer distracted by this added emotion of, oh, she was in love with you, this whole unrequited love. Because if you wanted to go that route, then I think the show needed one more episode that was just David and Rebecca centric to flesh out that relationship, and I don't think it needed that. I think the script is perfectly written to hit everything it needed to hit without all of that. So yeah, that's my only gripe, and it's like a tiny one, basically an irrelevant nitpick. It's just if I had to make the show like an 11 out of 10, that's what I'd do. But yeah, otherwise S tier, anime of the year, don't at me. Alright, now let's end with fall 2022. Oh man, this is the big one. I'm so excited. I can't wait to talk about all these blockbuster anime. Starting with Bleach, which I didn't watch. Sorry, I've never seen Bleach, but you can watch this video where I talk about the weird live action adaptation. It's really funny, I promise. But I did watch Chainsaw Man. Oh, y'all like Chainsaw Man. Ooh, Chainsaw Man. Everybody loves Chainsaw Man, right? No, but for real, yeah. Chainsaw Man is really good. This is probably the most prominent entry in the shows I hyped up before they released, but once they came out, I didn't watch them category. If you follow this channel, you've probably seen the videos I did on Chainsaw Man last year where I just dick ride the manga, because I've said before, the manga is one of my favorite ongoing series right now with, you know, part 2 recently starting up again. That being said, I think the MAPPA adaptation of Chainsaw Man is very, very good, but it's still inferior to the manga. This is a similar situation to Call of the Night that I talked about earlier, and trust me, this isn't some read the source material, the manga is always better. I've never been that guy, but in this case, it's kind of true. As good as this MAPPA adaptation is, and as much effort that you could see they put into it, it doesn't capture the aesthetic that Fujimoto created in the manga that really gives it that unique Chainsaw Man feel. It's Fujimoto's gritty art direction and paneling and messy line work that made the manga the success that it is, and I mean, the anime honestly just looks too clean. It looks like a perfectly polished Marvel movie with like high budget animation and everything, but that's not what Chainsaw Man really is, at least in my opinion. Still an amazing show though, you don't need me to tell you that. A tier, Kobeni best. Okay, then there's Mob Psycho Season 3, which I haven't watched yet. Oh, fuck. I feel like if you ever hear me saying I'm highly anticipating a show, just know I'm probably not gonna watch that show till like months after it comes out. If you watch this channel, you may know that Mob Psycho is one of my favorite anime ever, so of course I was insanely hyped for Season 3, but you know, I kind of want to watch it all at once, so I'm gonna wait for it to finish up, which at the time I'm making this video, it's still running, so yeah. My Hero Academia Season 6. Oh man, it pains me to talk about this one because everyone is talking about how good it is and that, oh, My Hero Academia is back and this is the best the show has been in years, and yeah, I agree this is one of the best arcs in the series and Bones is doing a pretty good job adapting it. But knowing that it all goes downhill from here, at least in my opinion, the manga is a pretty sad mess right now, that kind of sours my enjoyment of the anime, but obviously things are still really good now, so I'm gonna say A tier for My Hero. Golden Kamui Season 4 is about as good as you'd expect Golden Kamui to be, and spoiler alert, Golden Kamui is really good. I'll say A tier. Blue Lock, oh my god, go Japan, gambare! Watch once this video comes out, they'll be eliminated and I'll look like a huge douche. Blue Lock is cool. I only watched a few episodes, but I've read the whole manga. It's a solid sports series, especially if you like over-the-top shit like Kuruko or whatever, but yeah, didn't watch the whole season. Iruma-kun Season 3. I have a soft spot for this show because it's so by the numbers and yet it's so fun and charming to watch. However, this season was a little slow and meandering, at least in my opinion, but I'd still recommend it, so C tier. To Your Eternity Season 2. Oh man, I got mixed feelings towards this series because it's the classic anime situation of having a great premise and a good starting episode, then it eventually becomes more of like your just generic battle anime, which, you know, isn't a bad thing at all, but I was sold on the series for its slow and thoughtful start, and now it's just like whatever. I don't know. Yeah, you could say that's my fault for having the wrong expectations, but I mean, so what? I can feel however I want. D tier. Speaking of having my expectations changed, here's Mobile Suit Gundam, The Witch from Mercury. Again, I was baited by the prologue episode into thinking this was like a dramatic space fantasy bit mixed with some like human drama, mech stuff like Evangelion, and then when I watched the first episode and they started going to school, I was like, oh, I forgot I was watching an anime. But unlike To Your Eternity, although the show didn't turn out like the way I thought it would, what it does give us is very, very good, and I'm enjoying it just the same. So A tier. Urusei Yatsura. I actually have a video I want to make about this soon. I don't know if that'll come out before or after this, so keep an eye out, you know, turn the notifications on, whatever. But yeah, this is a cool show. I don't know how to explain it, but it somehow feels dated and not dated at the same time. I watched some episodes from the original series to see how faithful of an adaptation it was, and I mean, they definitely captured the same spirit. I don't know, it's just we have so many shows like this now that this seems almost exhausting to watch, but then you remember that all these shows trace their origins back to Urusei Yatsura, so it's like, you can kind of forgive it for a lot of stuff. I don't know, it's fine. I'll talk about it more in the video. I'll just put it in C tier, I guess. Next is Romantic Killer. You know, it's crazy we have so many out of nowhere shows that have, I guess, surprisingly dope animation and creative art direction. We've seen a lot of those in recent years. I'm talking about shit like Keep Your Hands Off Eizouken or Kaguya-sama, and even like Wonder Egg Priority. They have such care and devotion put into the visuals that, you know, you don't normally expect from shows of that type. And yes, Romantic Killer, I would say, is in that similar vein, as well as another show from this season that I'm sure we'll get to later. Romantic Killer, very good rom-com. It's a Netflix original though. I don't know how y'all feel about Netflix, but you should still watch this, B tier. What else do we got here? I didn't watch none of this, I'm not gonna lie. Oh, there's this one, More Than a Married Couple But Not Lovers. It's it's exactly what you expect. C tier. Oh yeah, there's Reincarnated as a Sword. Oh my god, everyone's favorite anime. D tier. Uzaki-chan season 2. Yeah, I hate season 1, and this is about the same. D tier. And then we got Renai Flops, which I've been meaning to watch. I hear very interesting things about it. I don't know. Could be cool. Okay, so let's end on a good pick. Bocchi the Rock, which is sweeping the anime world by storm at the moment. I've talked about Bocchi a lot already, and I'm probably gonna make a dedicated video to it. Just know that it's a good show. You know, it appeals to a lot of people because of its unique animation style. You know, the care they put into the visuals, and of course the likable cast. S tier, I'd say, and a dark horse contender for anime of the year. Yeah, believe it or not, it's that good. All right, well, that's me ranking every show of 2022, and just to round things off, I'll list my contenders for anime of the year in case you didn't catch it throughout the video. I'd say Kaguya, Made in Abyss, Cyberpunk, Bocchi, and Chainsaw Man. Okay, that's nice. That works out to a top 5. Yeah, so that's my opinion, as is everything else in this video, but as you all know, only my opinion is objective fact, so this is the only correct ranking for every show on here. Don't at me. Let me know what y'all think in the comments, what shows you liked, what shows you didn't like. I won't read any of them, but maybe someone else will. I'm playing, y'all. I do read the comments. Come on. Once in a while. But otherwise, like, subscribe, hit the notification bell, donate to Patreon if you want to support the channel, and that's the video. Peace.